hard and create opportunities for ourselves and our kids. And we figured it out, not just over centuries, but over millennia. The First Nations people who figured out how to survive and thrive and build a set of values that worked well within this world and helped inform the waves of immigrants that then came to settle Canada. What we have developed as a country here is this rare place, this one place in the world that is strong not in spite of our differences, but because of those differences. And right now, in a world that is, facing tremendous challenges around environmental degradation, resource depletion, increased poverty, widening income inequalities, conflicts, and wars, and injustices, and human rights abuses all around the world, at the same time as we're becoming more empowered as individuals and more aware of what's going on. Well, the time for Canada to go beyond narrow definitions attached to identity, whether they be language or religion or geography, and to understand that we can help shape a world that is built on shared values, the values that define Canadians from coast to coast to coast, wherever you live. Openness, respect, compassion, freedom, respect for each other, a willingness to work hard, a desire to be there for each other, a search for equality, for opportunity, for justice. These are the things that define us all as Canadians. And this is what we need to be building on. And any time we get wrapped up in playing one region against another, of harping on differences from one community to the next, we limit our capacity to do what we've always done best, which is pull together and generate solutions that are greater than we ever could have on our own. And for the first time in the history of this country, there is a real anxiety. An anxiety that perhaps this next generation, for the first time, will not have the kinds of opportunities and quality of life that we have. And that forward march of progress, that sense that every generation can work hard and create opportunities for the next kids, for their kids, for the next generation, perhaps that has stalled. Perhaps that has run its course. Perhaps we're facing a different kind of world where those opportunities simply no longer exist and we're going to have to readjust. Certainly that's an argument we see, that Canada is on the receiving end of globalized forces beyond our control, that the march of history is unfortunately towards a greater distancing between income levels, a faltering of the middle class, that strong, vibrant middle class that created this country. Or we imagine during the post-war years, from the mid-60s from the mid-50s to the mid-70s, our economy grew over 100%, more than doubled in size. And average incomes in this country increased by over 50%. So the growth of the economy was good for all Canadians. But over the past 30 years, our economy doubled in size once again, grown over 100%. But over those same 30 years, average family income, median household income, has increased by only 14%. So people now feel that they haven't had a raise. We haven't had a real raise in 30 years for most Canadians. Meanwhile, cost of living goes up, cost of education goes up, student debts increase. Your average Canadian household is struggling under $28,000 of non-mortgage debt. That's credit cards, student loans, car payments. This is not the kind of country we need to be building for our kids. We cannot just sit back like this current government says and say, we're doing fine. Canada is the best place in the world to live. Be thankful we don't live in Spain. It may be true as far as it goes, but that's not something to aspire to. Canadians have always been problem solvers. We've always known that we can pull together and step up. But it only happens if we focus on what binds us together as being greater than what differentiates us. And for me, the lesson that I have learned over the course of my life that has been reinforced in wonderful ways in rooms like this, in places like Pinoka, places like Vegreville, places like Humboldt, Saskatchewan, or Nipawin, Manitoba, is that everywhere people want to be part of something positive. They want to be part of, once again, working to build a better future for ourselves, for our kids, for our communities. They don't want to be told that it's something that we cannot do. They don't want to be told that the best way to get through it is to point fingers and assign blame to that group over there, or this group over here. We want instead to know that we can, as we have done many times in the past as a country, pull together and solve the challenges we're facing. How do we turn around this stalled middle class we're facing as a country? Investments in education, investments in infrastructure, investments in science, a basic respect for science from government. But I always believe that policies based on facts rather than facts based on policy is a better way to go.
Hear, hear.
We have the tools. Canada is an unbelievably lucky country.